Hey everyone, my name is Anthony Sampson, practicing enrolled agent and solution architect here at Wolters Kluwer, Tax and Accounting North America. In this video, we'll share with you how TaxWise Online will help you to operate your virtual tax office. So right now, as you can see, TaxWise Online is a web browser-based solution. It's also a virtual solution. Yes, it's a browser-based solution. I'm gonna click right over here. I got a few commands and options over here that I can definitely jump into if I want to start a new return, look at my return manager, open existing returns. We also have a mobile platform where your clients can take pictures of their documents and send you that information. Of course, menu options for e-filing, admin reports, and things of that nature. We also integrate with TextLint, so you can text message your customers from our platform, or send out marketing messages to your clients utilizing our platform and integrating with TextLint. All right, so let's go ahead and look at our return manager for just a brief second. I want to show you the returns that we currently have right now in the system. Got a good set of returns that we're currently looking at. You'll see right over here where it says import interviews, that's how I'm seeing the returns that actually came in from the mobile site. Either I can go directly to our mobile return section, or I can look at the returns that came from the mobile site where people use your mobile site to log in and take pictures of their documents and send over to you. It also has a questionnaire. So when I scoot further down here, I'm looking at the return manager and I can see the returns that I currently have in the system right now. And one of the things I'm able to do is to see if I have any notes. So I can click right there over there and see any return notes that I may have on the system. So if I click more, TaxWise will show me the notes that I've entered into that return and if I need to add any additional notes. So I can definitely say still missing 1099 and W2. So I can add those notes and hit save and it'll populate right over there. In addition to that, I also have another tool that's going to allow me to see information about the client's return, the return summary. So let's say hypothetically, if the client calls you up and they say, hey, I'm applying for my financial aid, my FAFSA. Can you tell me what my AGI is, my adjusted gross income? Absolutely. You can click right over here and you'll see federal income information. You can see, wow, this person has significant income. You can see what their AGI is, taxable income is, all these various different amounts of income you're able to see directly right over here. Absolutely. So we can definitely see what the AGI is and all the necessary information about the client, even state information we can see over here towards the bottom. All right. So now if we wanted to start a new return, I can click right over here, create new return. A couple other things too before we go into the return. If you find yourself in a situation where you need some support and help with TaxWise, if I click this link, we actually have a tool that will take you over to be able to chat with a TaxWise customer service professional that can help guide you. If you have any questions, you can definitely chat with them and get assistance that way. So we're making it very easy for you to be able to connect with us here at Wolters Kluwer, and you can definitely be able to go about your day and preparing returns. So let's click over here on new return. Once we click on new return, I'm going to go ahead and put in a social security number. All right, and one of the options we have the option to go to tax forms or to go to interview mode. If you're applying for I-10, definitely we can do that application through TaxWise Online. We have the tools for that for you to be able to do that. Now, if I choose over here to go to the tax forms, TaxWise will take me over to the main information sheet. Yes, let's go ahead and create a new return. Looks like I've used that number before. Doing so many presentations, I've used that particular number before. All right, so we're loading up TaxWise Online on the screen, and what you're going to be viewing first is the main information sheet. This is the foundation of where it comes to the building that return. And let me explain a couple of things to you. Towards the left-hand side, you'll see what we call the forms tree. The forms tree lays all the forms out that we have over there. TaxWise already also has a refund or an amount due calculator built in the solution. Right now it's saying $1,800 because it's already assuming that the client maybe did not get their actual stimulus check, so it's reminding you of that. So you can go down to that worksheet over there and address the recovery rebate credit. Now you'll see over there these red exclamation points, they link directly over to these fields over here where the red underline is. So at TaxWise we have a saying called get the red out. That's exactly what we want you to be able to do, is get the red out. So if I was to type in here taxpayer's name, let's say the taxpayer's name is John and his name is Smith, right? Now I can hit Control, I can hit Tab on my keyboard, and when I hit Tab, it just moves me to the next field. But if I hit Control E, it moves me to the next required field. So what required fields like the address. If I hit Control E again, my next required field is to put in a zip code. TaxWise has a zip code database in the solution. So if I enter 30144, it's going to populate that city and the state for me. Okay. So now, one of the things about TaxWise, TaxWise definitely allows you to prepare returns in Spanish. So if you are bilingual, if you speak Spanish, I can check this box over here, Spanish forms on the return. Once I check that box, it's going to go ahead and populate the forms in Spanish. So all the information is listed right over here. If I want to change it back to English, I could just uncheck that box, click main info sheet, and it's going to come over here in English. Right. You'll see definitely if you have clients that speak Spanish, you could actually print the forms in Spanish. You can prepare the returns in English, print the tax return, the 1040, yes, it can be printed in Spanish. All right. So now this is one of the approaches you can take to preparing returns, going through the main information worksheet, addressing all these areas. And just like I said, you want to use that Control E, and that's what many of our customers do. They hit Control E on the keyboard, they enter in the important information, Control E, and they just work their way through hitting Control E, and it's going to literally jump you through all the various different areas, and we like to call it get the red out. Now, when you've answered all the questions, all the required fields on the worksheet, it turns from a red exclamation point to a green check mark. That's one of the tools that's one of the ways you know that you've completed that form in its entirety and you've answered all the necessary questions. Now, this is one of the ways to prepare the tax return using what we call forms view mode. Another approach that you can take is I can switch to the interview mode, and this is fantastic. My first 3 years in practice, I worked for a franchise, and literally I prepared that tax return using interview mode, like all 300 plus returns using interview mode. So if you've got new preparers, if you're new to taxation, wonderful, you can definitely use interview mode to be able to work through this particular tax return and put the balance status and put all that necessary information in there and work through this. You can complete a good portion of the return by going through interview mode and finishing up, even down to print signature pages and hitting finish. All right. So just want to let you know that's there for your new employees. Maybe you're new to doing TaxWise. For anyone new to doing taxes, TaxWise is a great tool to help you with that. So we're going to switch back over to the forms view mode. One of the other tools that we have in TaxWise is something called an interview questionnaire checklist. It's like a checklist to make sure that you've got all the necessary questions answered to prepare an accurate tax return for your client. It also streamlines your process for your staff so they know directly on how to bill the client. If you're not there present, it helps them be able to bill the client if you bill by form. So if I come over here into the plus sign, this is where I come over here to add new forms. When I hit that plus sign, if I want to add in a W-2, I can just come in here and hit that W-2, hit the plus sign, and W-2 gets added that way. That's one way that you can add forms to TaxWise. Or if I want to add in a Schedule C, I can just come in here and type SCHC. Wonderful. I can add in that Schedule C. It's very simple and very easy to be able to do that. If there's other forms that I want to add in here, like the interview worksheet I was telling you about, the interview worksheet is located right over here, and it allows you, your preparers, to go through a series of questions. Now, you can use this as a guide. So based off these questions that you're asking, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, you could ask those questions, and it's going to add the form. So for instance, if I said, yes, I have some interest income on the return, when I add this, when I check yes, interest income, it's going to automatically add a Schedule B to the solution. If I say yes to some of these other items, it will add the necessary worksheets there. Or I can go through this checklist over here. Did you or your spouse receive any of the following forms? If I say yes to Partnership and S Corps, it's going to go ahead and add the K1 over here for us. Now, TaxWise does help with the billing process, like I was referring to earlier, because down here at the bottom, you'll see this particular field over here where you can actually click on that arrow, and it's going to link you over to a corresponding worksheet. So in TaxWise, when you see that little arrow over there, the green arrow, it takes you over to a corresponding worksheet, and here's our price sheet. So if you want to build by the form for your customers, you definitely can go ahead and build by the form. Now, you can set this up in the settings section, in our administrative settings section, and this will be auto-populated. So for instance, if you said, okay, I bill $120 for the 1040 and all these various forms I'm going to be billing for, based up by the time when you get done with answering all those questions for the client, on that interview worksheet towards the bottom, let's go over here towards the bottom, you'll see the price appear over there. So based off saying, yes, I know these questions, when you get to the bottom of this worksheet, you'll have an approximation of what the price should be, especially if you bill by the form. So it's really good for streamlining your practice and getting things organized for your clients. Fantastic tool that we have here. All right, so now let's add some income into the return. I'm going to go ahead and hit the plus sign. Oh, not the plus sign, excuse me. Let's go ahead to the W-2 over here for a second. So I added that W-2, and let's go ahead and add some income to the return. I'm gonna click over there in my Refund Monitor. We'll see that. So just a few questions asking us. Notice our red underlines are there. We're gonna address that. And it's asking us to enter some income in here and also employer ID. One of the things that TaxWise has is an employer ID database. So once you enter an EIN number one time, it's gonna save that information and populate that information pretty much all the time. Once you enter it in, it's gonna save it and you'll bring that information up all the time. That red underline over there asking for their wages. So if I put in $30,000 of wages, you'll see the Refund Monitor change is changing to an amount due. So just within a matter of seconds. TaxWise is a live running solution. So within a matter of seconds, you can see that information over there. Now, these green underlines over here, letting you know this is an area where you need to put some information in. It's a calculated field. You can see that those are calculated fields. Those actual yellow underlines over there, you can see that's a calculated field over there. If I enter in this federal withholding amount here of $2,000, we can see right over there, we change back to the green and a refund that's on there. Now that return summary, we can click over here and see that return summary. Same thing that we would see if we were outside the return. We can see that return summary listed over here towards the bottom. All right, so very helpful tool to be able to work through getting our wages into the system. Now I want to take a second here and go back to that main information sheet for just a moment. Now, so far we've got some federal information in the return. This is fantastic. We got the federal information in. We can continue to keep working through this. Notice we answered everything on the W-2, so it's a green check mark if there was no state income tax. But let's just say hypothetically, let's say this client does live in a particular state that has state income tax. Well, I can come further down over here in that main information worksheet. This is where we address filing status. Over here towards the bottom, this is where we put in our dependents, our dependent information. And then when I get down over here, you'll see the states. So let's say I lived in Georgia, I put Georgia in there. Automatically, TaxWise adds the state of Georgia to the return. I'm going to add the state of Georgia to the return. I go to the bottom over here. You'll see Georgia's listed right there. Now, let's say I had, maybe the client was in North Carolina. So you don't have to download the actual states. They're listed right over here. North Carolina, form 400, page 1. The states are listed right over here. It's automatically get added to here. If you had some part-year residency, you'll address that. If you had some non-resident income, you can address those non-resident income over here. Another thing, too, I want to make sure I mention is that we partner with different banks. So if you're offering settlement solutions, such as deducting tax preparation fees from the client refunds, bank products, we work with Republic Bank, TPG, Refund Advantage, Refund, and EPS. So you want to make sure you speak with your sales consultant to learn more about our settlement solution options and the integration we have with these banks. All right, so I wanted to just make sure I take a moment here to bring that to your attention. Now, as you're going through the preparation process, I want to make sure I bring your attention to our diagnostics that are inside the return. So if I click over here on diagnostics, those diagnostics will pull up, and you can see line by line the items that you need to address, whether it's the main information sheet, whether pay-to-payer information, interview worksheet. You can go through this, and these are actually hyperlinks that you can walk through inside the return once you click on these particular items. So for instance, let's say that I was on the Schedule B, or like let's say I was on the Schedule B and I clicked on one of these items on the main information sheet where the diagnostics are telling me, hey, you have an error here in the main information sheet. I need to put some information in about the client's ID. If I click over there on that, it's going to bring me back over to the main information sheet, and I can go down to field 85 where I've got the actual driver's license information. In addition to that, I also have warnings. If there's some warnings in the return, like I said, there's a refund on the tax return, but no direct deposit information has been filled in. So we can say yes or no, we can address that. Any overrides in the return or any estimates in the return, TaxWise will bring that to my attention. So you got a good set of diagnostics that are here to help you as a review tool, as working tool as well. Now, TaxWise does have client letters that you can use as well. If you would definitely issue a client letter, a refund letter, non-due letter. Now, if you want to edit these letters, definitely in your templates, you can definitely go ahead and edit these letters and make changes to them as well and save those letters. Now, when you're finished with that return and you're ready to go ahead and send it to the client for signature, we do have the e-signature tools inside of TaxWise Online. So if you want to e-sign, send the return over for the client to e-sign, whether the client's in person or the remote, you do have that e-signature option, or even sign on the preparer's device. You have that tool available for you. All right. I hope you enjoyed this video. To learn more about TaxWise Online, please visit engagetax.wolterskluwer.com/virtual tax office. Thanks for watching.